Morning. Derek Siow, very pleased to meet you, mate. Thank you for your time. And you're based in England. It's a little bit later over there.
It is. It's 10 p.m. over here. I think it's like 7 a.m. over there. So sleep's just around the corner for me, and you just wake up. But the weather ain't that bad. It was like 17 degrees, which is that's good for London. That's like I know that's like winter for you guys, right?
Yeah, very
for
much.
us, that's like hitting. You'll find people sunbaking in the park at that kind of degrees. Right?
Why England? Why are you based over there? Is there more work, or is that part of your heritage? You prefer to live and work over there?
It was really just, it just also happened. Like, I've been here about 14 years now. And when I first came, I was doing music at the time. I did a lot of music back then.
Yeah.
And, I was working with a lot of music producers and that, and just being with, I think London and Melbourne, they're really similar cities in that, they're both big cities, really into their culture and their arts and all that. And there's just so much going on. And I just kind of, just started auditioning for stuff, started off from the ground up, short films and, small indie films and took off from there. Yeah.
And you do a lot of voiceovers in video games. Do you end up signing a contract saying, right, if this game is being made into a movie, you're going to be part of it? Or doesn't it work like that?
I wish. That would be awesome. I'd be like in Star Wars. I'd be
that's what I mean.
Battlefield 1, Horizon. If they ever made a Guitar Hero movie, I don't know how they'd do that, but if they did sign me up, mate, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, they made an emoji movie. I'm sure they can do a Guitar Hero movie. Easy.
Yeah. We should get one going, actually. That's a pretty good idea, right? All the video games are getting made into stuff. Halo just came out.
Halo's a pretty good show, actually. I fell victim to thinking it wasn't going to be until I watched it. But it was worth, if you get a chance to be part of Series 2, go for it.
Funnily, when I was shooting the Fear Index, they were shooting Halo over there at the same time.
Oh, right.
And one of the guys with the same agency as me was working on that at the same time. And a lot of the guys, with the crew and other guys, like I think the dialect coach was doing some stuff on our end as well for the Fear Index while Halo was going on. So yeah, it's looks amazing what I've seen so far. Yeah,
you'd fit right in, mate. I think.
Yeah,
suss it out.
Just shooting whatever comes at me. I'm like.
We will get to All the Old Knives shortly, because that is a current film that is actually doing really well for Prime Video, Amazon. But take me back to Zero Dark 30, one of your first films. That would have been an amazing experience. Did Catherine Bigelow handpick you, or did you audition for her? How did you become part of that?
Yeah, so I auditioned for her, and she selected us for it was at the time that was actually one of the first things I ever did, and so it's a small role, but it was just to get to work with Catherine. Yeah, to get to work with Catherine Bigelow was and I think it really set the tone for what was to come after that. In terms of the type of roles I was getting, but that was the first big studio film I'd ever done, and so I was kind of green as grass, didn't know what was going on. It was the first time I'd ever been to the Middle East. I don't know if you've been there, but that was the first time I'd been there. And so, it's a complete culture shock. I remember the first, when it was shot in Jordan, Amman, and, we arrived there. They got a bus to shuttle us from the hotel to God knows where. We didn't know anything because of the subject matter. Everything was so tight-lipped.
Sure.
Like we hadn't seen. Yeah, we hadn't seen any, we hadn't been given any scripts, we hadn't been given any sides, we hadn't been told much at all until we got there. And so, we were told, listen, just get onto the bus and bring your passport. And I was like, all right, just jump on this, little shuttle bus, and then they shuttled us out into the middle of nowhere. And then we arrived at this place, and there's these military guys with these big machine guns. And there's this guy sitting on this tank. And we're looking at each other going, where are we? It was a few of us. There was like me and another guy that was playing. So I was an interrogator. So it was a couple of interrogators and a couple of guys that played like the terrorists, right? Because we were going to interrogate them.
Yeah.
And so we arrived at this place, and it turns out it's a real active military prison.
Oh, wow.
And that we're actually shooting at this military prison. And the first thing they do is they go, okay, now give us your passport. you're holding on to this
Hang on a
one
minute.
document that this is the only piece of evidence that I am who I am, and I'm but it's like, to work with Catherine Bigelow, here you go.
Yeah.
So, and handed over the passport, and then we met her, and everything was great. They gave us these scripts, these sides that were bright red pages, and it was pretty much memorize all this and just go memorize it, because you'll be doing the interrogation with them. And so there we all are, just heads down, just memorizing the crap out of all there's like 4 or 5 pages there, and we're all just taking in turns to go in and do these different interrogations. And then Jason Clarke came out as well, and so he was basically doing the same thing we were doing. He was going to do he memorized all the lines that we were doing, and then go in there and interrogated them, and we just took turns, and then they were going to take them all and cut them up and put it together to what they got into the film. So
what an experience. It must have really built you as an actor, like to go through that procedure for Catherine Bigelow. Honestly, great experience.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. She was wonderful to work with. She gave really clear direction. She was she was just a lovely person. But just for me, that the experience of being over there in Petra, Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade was one of the first movies I'd ever seen in the cinemas. And then there's that iconic scene where they're at Petra, one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and so I went there, and Jason Clarke was there as well, and we were there together, just look at this is amazing, we saw the thing, and it was just a strange 180, 360, whatever you call it, to something one of the first movies that I'd ever seen.
I saw a movie you were in called Intelligent Design. That has one of my favorite actors, Anna Rust, in it. That was right. Yeah, well, that was a very different. How did you come about that film?
That actually wasn't the one I did. Wasn't the film? I actually did the audiobook for that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So there was a whole bunch of us that did this audiobook. Erin Doherty did it. Kingsley Benadia did it as well. And it was probably it's on Amazon Audio.
Yeah, right. The Audible
character was Zach for that. So
that would have been a good experience too. So much is now being done Audible, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. Just to see how the audience takes to the subject material. If it's a great following from there, then it's got a better chance of getting greenlit to go forward. But it's almost like it's like a storyboard, but listening one, isn't it?
Yes.
Of how the film's set out. But I've done a couple of that now. Actually, I did Sandman as well. Sandman 2 and 3, and that was a really amazing experience too. So audiobooks they got the thumbs up from me. So
how long now until you become a superhero or in a Marvel movie? Is that something that you'd aspire to do?
Yeah, I actually can't say too much, but I will be in a superhero movie at the end of the year. You'll see me in one. It's something that it was one of the most amazing experiences I've had so far. It was just a brilliant experience. I got to do a lot of I got to improv a lot, which is something I love to do, and really just play with the character. It's a really great character that something that I think is a good. It's one of those characters that I've always wanted to play. Let's just say that. So
my intel is correct. Then I did hear rumors that you may be popping up in something soon.
Yeah, someone's been leaking too much out there, I think.
I have contacts. I want to talk about All the Old Knives. You played Gene. Now, that movie came out of nowhere. I think Amazon or Prime Video have been doing some really good original stuff lately. They're either acquisitions or filming them themselves. How did that film come about, firstly, and then your experience? This is, you had some good scenes in it.
Yeah, it was just it was an amazing thing, really. It was right in the middle of the COVID pandemic. So the thing I'd done before that, so COVID was 2019. In 2019, Angel Has Fallen came out, which was that in itself was an amazing role that I did in that film. And so for that whole year after that, I hadn't been able to work on anything because they shut down all the productions for everything, and we were in lockdown. We couldn't go out. We were only allowed out 30 minutes a day to run around the block and go get groceries. So it basically been a whole year where and you didn't want to like talk to people too close. You couldn't talk to anybody, and so basically went for a whole year of not talking to anybody. And in what we do is it's not the kind of job you can work from home. You kind of have to be there when you're an actor, so they have to open up production so nobody knows what's going on. And then and then I auditioned for this one, and I went my way. So one of the first things I ended up doing was being on the set with I spoke to the director, and he was like, we're going to do a bit of a rehearsal. But Lawrence Fishburne isn't going to arrive. He's not due to arrive until a few days later. So could you read in for him? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. And so I arrive on set, and one of the first people I see is Chris Pine, and he's a wonderful, lovely guy. But I've just gone from a whole year of not seeing anybody to suddenly being in a rehearsal room with Chris Pine on my left, Thandiwe Newton on my right, and Jonathan Price right in front of me, and Jenna Smets directing me. And it's like, to go from seeing nobody to suddenly having, some of those brilliant actors living today, to see how they work and how they break down a scene, and, how they break down their character and interpret what's going on. It's, that's the stuff that I love about what we do. It was amazing to get to sit through that.
I think it would have been an eye-opening experience. I mean, those three, just in general, are amazing. Like, honestly, and the movie's been so well received. Did you have scenes? Have you watched the film yourself, like the complete version? And did you have scenes that didn't make it? Will we see extra scenes soon, possibly?
I'm not privy to that stuff, but I hope so. We shot a lot of stuff, so. I don't know if there's going to be another cut that makes it out there down the line, but it would be great if they did, because I was out there for quite a few weeks shooting a lot of stuff. So some of the great stuff I did with Thandiwe Newton, she was just such a lovely person to work with. I would we'd just sit down together and discuss, go over the scene, different ways we could try it, and we tried it a whole bunch of different ways. But I think someone that I really connected with was Lawrence Fishburne. Like, I'd been a really huge fan of his just growing up, even long before he did any of the Matrix stuff. So like stuff like Boys in the Hood and High Learning, and even stuff like Hoodlum, and I was a big I really liked his acting style, and so to get to meet him, not just meet him, but get to know him, and just while we're waiting around for a lot of our scenes, or just around the trailers, or just drinking coffee, we'd he had so many great stories. The guy's seen so much. He's lived such an amazing life, so just to hear he's just telling me stories, and I'm just telling him mine, and it was just it was a really great way to end the year of that lockdown year.
Yeah, so when you're sitting with Lawrence, you just talk about his films, or did you just wait and he just discussed his family life, or in everything in general? Yeah, you just everything. Take it all in. Sure.
He's done so many things, and he just had so many interesting things to say, and even asked, because High Learning was actually one of the first films of his that I'd seen at the cinema. I think it was the first film of his that I'd seen at the cinema.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager when that came out, and so that really that I could identify with a lot of the themes in that film, and I especially remembered his character, and I really enjoyed his work on that. So we talked a bit about that, and we talked about so many different things, because we had a few weeks to just to chill. So
is your acting style different when being a COVID production? Did you have to change anything, or you just went about your business as normal?
My acting style didn't really change. I mean, we had to wear masks and stuff in between, but that didn't really affect my performances or anything like that.
No.
In terms of just I still prepare quite a bit before I do my scenes, and I research the character, and try and get into their head and give them a good backstory and all that. So that stuff wasn't really affected with COVID.
So tell me about Gene. Is he a nice? Did you get into his character Offset? Are you a method actor?
No, I didn't do the most method acting I will ever do, which is basically keep the accent going.
Yeah, right.
So pretty much everything I do, almost everything I've done has been with the American accent. And so, that in that sense, I might, keep the American accent going for most of the day or just while I'm on set. and in that sense, that's probably about as methody as you're gonna get. I didn't go and join the CIA or any of that stuff.
Have you ever experienced any hurdles through your career, being a different heritage, non-Anglo-Saxon? Have you ever experienced any problems or not got a role because of it, or is your career being smooth sailing? I know things have changed now dramatically, which is great.
Things have changed dramatically now, and just in the past, in more recent years, it's just been getting a bit better, and I think what's changed the most has been the quality of the roles, but at the same time, I don't know if it could be a mixture of things where it's like earlier on I was still new in the industry and I was still green, do you know what I mean? So I was still trying to find my way, whereas now I've got a better idea of my acting style and the kind of roles that I'm suited for. So I think it's a bit of both, but it's definitely improving. It's still got a long way to go, obviously, but it's heading in the right direction at least.
And what's up next for you? Now, I know what is coming because I have the intel, but I know we can't talk about that yet. But what else? Have you got anything planned, or you got any projects you can discuss?
Again, nothing I can really discuss, but there's a TV series for Netflix that I'm hearing next year, and I'll be going to France in a couple of months to do something with Luc Besson, and something at the end of the year, for HBO Max. But that's about all I can say right now.
Wow, I've interviewed Luc Besson, and he is a master at his work. So congratulations on whatever that is.
Yeah, thanks. And again, I've always been a big fan of his. I'm actually a huge sci-fi fan. Yeah. So, a big fan of The Fifth Element. Yeah. To get to work with him is just going to be amazing.
Well, you sound like a movie fan, Derek, as well as an actor, which is a double whammy, really.
I mean, I don't know why you'd get into the industry if you were.
Some people do. Amazingly, some people don't watch their own movies, I can understand, but don't know film in general. They just fall into the business. Some people, some actors, and they're very good at it, but you're a bit of both, obviously, which I love.
Honestly, I never thought this is something I could be doing. When I grew up in Melbourne, Australia, that's where I was born, that's where I was raised. And to me, the movies was always something over the pond. It was always something in America or in Hollywood or wherever. I never would have thought that's something that I could be part of. So it's just, the whole roller coaster ride's it's been terrific for me.
Well, you got to come back sometime and make a movie down under. Again, there's some quality crew here, and obviously Fox Studios in Sydney.
Absolutely, would love to. Australia's on the up as well. It's starting to get some really great production. So would love to just come down there and enjoy the weather, enjoy the food, and get to do what I love down there. That would be amazing.
Now, to wrap it up, tell me in your own words why, if they haven't already, people should watch All the Old Knives. Tell me your take on it.
People should watch All the Old Knives because it's a masterpiece. Every frame is a masterpiece. It unfolds really nicely, and it's a throwback to a lot of I think it's a throwback to cinema in a little way. It's a good way to enjoy cinema from home.
I found it to be a very slow building movie, and then when it does, it really whacks you. Like, it really does hit you, and I've been talking about it for weeks since I first saw it. So congratulations on being part of a great film, really good film, and your career in general, Derek. I appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
There you go. I've stopped recording. Thank you very much, mate.